Hello everyone, welcome back to the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston Subdivision in HO scale. My name is Daryl Kruse, owner, builder, and operator of the layout, and your host for episode 35 of season 2022. In this episode, we will be featuring some more mainline, some additional mainline. It's always great to have an update that includes additional trackage. So we have 16 feet of additional mainline to show you today, and of course how we added that. Only have about 50 or so more feet of mainline before we get the complete mainline done and we can run trains continuously. Definitely looking forward to that. Before we get started, though, please be sure to like and share and comment and join as a member. Support this channel will be much appreciated and help me continue things as we go along this pretty ambitious build of the Evanston sub of the Union Pacific Railroad in HO scale. Now here's the section that I added right along this wall here. The wall's about 20 feet, maybe not quite that, maybe 18 or 19 feet. And so I added 16 more feet. It's not the complete 18, 19 feet because there's curved sections that encroach about a couple feet on both sides. Here's what I still have to do yet. As I add sections, I'm, of course, always thinking forward to how this is going to fit into the next section. Definitely want to be continually thinking on how everything works together. So as you notice, I put in a blue chalk line there. I figured out where I wanted the elevation to be at the end of this. So I did a blue chalk line. Here's the next section I built. I did a blue chalk line all the way across to help. I wanted to show you the underside. I did a little bit different framing this time. I did all linear framing there, lengthwise, instead of having cross braces. Figured that any kind of warpness of the plywood is more noticeable by length, not by width. So I decided to go with 3 long sections. So to put it up, I went ahead and put it on the brace on one side and just kind of set it on top of the existing piece on the other side. And then I used a clamp to hold it together. And then I screwed them together underneath. And here we have it completely installed, or I should say initially installed. We'll be adding some more braces. This is eye level for me, so we're definitely decreasing the height to where we can have a much better view of this without standing on a step stool of some sort. This is much wider than the rest of the upper level. West Vaco and then Granger here, and then also the Aspen tunnels are a little bit wider. The rest of the upper level is 10 inches. Now here I'm getting ready to put in the second section. The first section was 8 feet long. This second section will be not quite 18 feet. Here's how I protected the signals. I put one of them just below the layout. That protects it pretty good. But the other one wouldn't go below the layout, so I put a canister there on top. This additional benchwork is not quite 16 feet, but when you consider the additional trackage on the existing benchwork, it does come out to about 16 feet of track. Now initially when I put this on here, it sagged a little bit in the middle where the two sections came together. And I really couldn't get the sag to go away even after adjusting everything. Here you can kind of see the sag a little bit, and then you can also see how the lower level kind of comes out from underneath it. Here is definitely, the lower level is definitely going to be underneath the upper level. But just for a short section, and then here, once it goes through there, it's going to be the main line on the lower level is going to be out from under the upper level. And you could definitely see the sag here. So I decided I'm definitely going to need some more cabling here. And here you can see how I temporarily did. You can see I have a little cross brace underneath there going from the spur there up to the middle. And then also adding the fascia in front helped stabilize it too. So it definitely was able to straighten it out. It's perfectly straight now pretty much. And it's a 0.5% decline or grade going down. So we gain about an inch, or I should say we lose about an inch in elevation going from one end to the other. And this is going to be Granger. Definitely a lot of room there to put a town. There is a town at Granger, very small one out in the middle of nowhere. So it'll be an interesting town. That also put some foam scenery on there. All right, once I had it all ready to go, I used some more chalk line to make sure that the roadbed was straight. So here you have the curves coming around, and then it's going to be straight all the way through here. And then once I had the chalk lines down, I used the chalk lines to put the cork roadbed so that the cork roadbed was straight. So generally, if you get the roadbed down straight and make sure that's good and straight, it's easy to get the track straights here. So we're going to have a nice curve here. We have a couple of really good vantage points. Standing here, you'll be able to see the trains coming straight down this fairly long straightaway. So I think that's going to look pretty good once we get tracks on and everything. You can see how it covers the lower level. And then we went ahead and put the ties in for the turnouts. There is a control point here. This used up all the turnout ties that I have. So I ran out of turnout ties. I think I've gone through about 2,000 of them so far. Maybe not quite that. I forget how many I ordered to begin with. It may only be 1,000. But I'm out, and so I ordered, I think, 1,000 more. Right, and so here you have the track on. Put more track on track 1 than track 2. And the turnouts are in. And I also wired the control point is going to be 2 additional detection sections or blocks. So you can see how I wired that. I'll have to staple the wires up a little bit so you can't see. If you notice, the fascia is a little bit wider here. This is 3 inches. I made it wider there because I want to make sure that the turnouts, since they're at the edge, the track is along the edge, I want to make sure that they were hidden and wouldn't be visible. So the fascia is a little bit wider here compared to the rest. I've been doing about 2.5 inches for most of the fascia on the upper level. And of course, now the fun part is to see trains running on the new section. So here we have a crude oil tank train headed up by a C44-9 made by Scale Trains. This has a very unique sounding engine. Prime mover or whatever they're called. So even though the UP doesn't have a whole ton of C44-9s, I do have this one, and I like running it. It's there together with an Athearn SD70, followed by a bunch of Scale Trains crude oil tank trains. This is the upper level, the beginning of the upper level. So these are trains coming from Green River, and we're traveling above the main line at of the Evanston yard. Using some photo backdrops printed on banners. I got that from Walgreens. Photos. You have to catch Walgreens if you do some of these banners. Got to catch them when they have a sale on. I got these when they had a 50% sale on. Then some other people were trying it out and the sale was off. So you have to catch them when they have a sale. The sale went off and then it went back on again. I think if you want to do it, today is the last day. The 5th is the last day. So that's tomorrow. So if you want to do it, make sure you get it done today or tomorrow, or else you have to wait until it comes out again. All right, so we're still on the upper level between Green River and West Waco. You can see some Trona plants in the distance. And it looks like we have a red here at the West Waco control point, so we'll come to a stop. And we'll have to wait a bit for whatever train is on our main line. Here's the scale trains tank cars. You can see the total length of the train. There is a DPU at the other end. All right, here's the train coming in the opposite direction. Heading eastbound towards Green River. And for some reason, it's on our main line. This part of the Evanston sub is right-hand running. This particular train, a manifest train, headed up by an Intermountain ET44 Tier 4 Gevo. For some reason, it's on our main line. It's on the left-hand side here. So we're waiting for it to cross over. And once it gets past us, we'll be able to continue on. And you see it has the flashing yellow to cross over in front of our train. Now I am slowing down to 10 miles an hour. It's going to be kind of the speed limit through here is 10 miles an hour. That's going to be mainly to allow the operators to walk around it. Now you notice it's kind of skipped ahead. That was me walking around the peninsula. That's about how far it gets. So if you just walk at a normal pace and you begin your walk around the peninsula just after the locomotive goes through the signal, you will definitely get to the other side by the time it comes out of the other side of the control point. So it works out pretty good. I think 10 miles an hour. It's going to be the ruling speed through here to allow the operators to get to the other side. So that's, I think, how we're going to do things to begin with. We may adjust things as we operate, see how things go. Still have a piece of fascia to add here, you'll notice. There's no reason why it's not there except just haven't gotten around to it. I definitely need to do that. And here we have some Atlas cryogenic reefers, 70-footers. As this manifest train passes, and now the main line is clear for us to continue. It's another Intermountain Tier 4 Gevo. See if we can get a signal here. All right, so I gave myself a green. I think when we operate, you won't get anything here more than a yellow or maybe a flashing yellow. I think I might just say you always have a yellow here. That makes sure everybody goes at 10 miles an hour. So we're going ahead and cranking this up to 10 miles an hour. And we have the signal knocking down to red. So we'll go ahead and I'll actually show this on the video. The walk around the peninsula. So this is just normal pace walking, not in any kind of a hurry, but not going slow by any means. And by the time I get to the other side, our train is just coming out of the control point. So it works out pretty good. All right, so we're continuing westbound through the West Vaco control point and now past the West Vaco Trona mine and plant. Someone told me that they only ship out the soda ash from here. It's a Trona mine and plant, but they basically process all the Trona into soda ash, and the only thing they ship out of the West Vaco plant is soda ash. So I may have to, I really like that flood loader. I'm not sure if they use that for soda ash. I have to check that out. If they only use it for the Trona and not the soda ash, I may go away from prototypical practice and have this plant ship out both the raw Trona and then the processed soda ash. Anyway, we're past that plant and we're coming around the curve. See if we can figure out why an eastbound train was on our main line. Well, it looks like they had some maintenance away work to do on track 2, so the eastbound train was on track 1, and we had to wait at the West Vaco control point before we could proceed. And we are now getting to the new main line. So first trains across the newly added main line through Granger. So the total length of the upper level is 190 feet. I have about 55, I think, to go, which means I've done 135 feet of main line so far. I have 55 feet left to go, so definitely coming up on the end here. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, I think. This is going to be pretty cool here, I think. By the time I get a photo backdrop up there, and then also the little town of Granger, some foam scenery going. I think it's going to look pretty good. So trains will continue across here, and what's really cool, at the end I can actually see almost, there you can see the other end of the upper level. So that's how much I have to do yet in order to get this done. I am so close. I have 3 curves here to do. That's going to probably take a while to get those 3 curves done, but this is what I have so far. All right, let's watch one more train across the same line. I enjoyed the first one, so we'll do another one since we have 2 tracks. This is a coal train. About 38 bathtub coal cars. I think I'm going to get my coal trains up to 45 to 50 cars eventually. And this is headed up by an Athearn SD70ACE and an Athearn ES44 Gevo. And since the first train is in our main line, we're going to cross over to track 2. So again, I'm slowing down to 10 miles per hour. And again, by the time I get to the other side, it's through the control point. We're going to go ahead and crank it up back to 20 miles per hour. I think on this upper level, we're going to probably be going about 25 miles or 30 miles per hour, since it's not as much of a grade and curves and so forth as the lower level. Lower level is definitely much more mountainous. You'll notice there's no critter in the window anymore. The previous video, there was a mouse in the window. I did get him out of there. They jump in, but they can't climb out, so they end up starving, I guess. I have no problems killing mice, but I guess I don't want them to sit there and starve. That's pretty terrible way to go. So I do let them try to figure out a way for them to get out. Usually I put a piece of wood in there so that they can have something to climb out on. So anyway, I got him out, and I then put some rodent repellent completely around the house, extra amount around that window well. And then also put some bug repellent around. I think the window wells get a lot of critter attention, a lot of frogs in there. I think the crickets is what's attracting them into there. We have a lot of crickets this time of year. So hopefully that will be critter free now. Back to the railroad though. We're coming along the curves here and heading towards the new main line again, going past the crude oil tank train that was there, that we ran through there first. Hopefully get a little bit different view of the trains coming through here. I'm really excited about getting this main line done. And definitely excited about getting more time spent just running trains. I've been doing much more of that as we go along. Sometimes I'll come down and just spend a couple hours just run trains back and forth. But I am a little sick of having to have them turn around all the time. So when I get these trains to this point, I have to take the locomotives and take them to the other end of the train and run them back the other direction. So looking forward to not doing that anymore. So there's a Y here at Granger. I'm going to try to add the Ponticello sub that comes out of Granger, but I'm not going to be able to put the Y. There's just not enough room to do a Y. I have thought of different ways and couldn't figure out any way to do it, so I'm just going to have a track coming off of here. I'm going to run it around so that we could put a train back there. And so we'll have some operations of a train coming off the Ponticello sub and running in both directions. A little bit more on that as we go along. All right, before we end this video, let's see how trains look on the lower level. Now, as it comes through here past the Newman pole, it will go under the upper level. So on the other side of the Newman pole, it will be not under the second level. Then just as it passes the Newman pole, it'll go under the upper level for a little bit there. You can see the upper level actually extends out further than the lower level. But then right about here, it then comes back out into the open and is not underneath the upper level. So I think that's going to work out pretty good. So I would say probably about 70% of the run of the lower level while it's under the upper level is out and not directly underneath it. So here you can see two trains passing. It's a pretty cool view here. So just barely underneath here a little bit. Here you can see how it's not covered up by the upper level. So that's kind of my plan and design throughout, is for the most of the way when the two levels are together, the lower level, and I'd say probably about 70% of the time, the lower level is not directly underneath the upper level. And then, of course, you have the whole peninsula, which is completely out in the open. So I think my design goal is panning out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the way it's been going and the way it's turning out. And it looks like we have a red here, so we'll go ahead and stop this train at Emory. This is on the lower level. Also have lights under there. I will have lights on this rest of this upper level as we go through here. Get a chance to see both levels together. Well, I hope everybody has had a great Labor Day weekend and has a great Labor Day tomorrow. Hope you enjoy the day off. I'll be spending my time working on the railroad probably. But thanks so much for watching the video. Make sure you like, share, comment, become a member, support this endeavor. Take care, everybody.